Someone came to me this week frustrated. They said no one is listening to me. No one is handling my need. And what I did, I let out a frustrated, hard breath. You know that breath, that sigh, that huff, that breath that says without a word, here we go again. You're being difficult. I don't have time for this. I didn't even say anything at first. I just breathed, hard, frustrated. And I watched their face change. I watched them shut down because that breath told them everything. You're not safe to bring your need here. Then because I was frustrated, I did the next thing wrong. I spoke too much. I explained. I gave the background, the why, the history, the 5 steps. I talked for 3 minutes to answer a 30-second need. And I watched their eyes glaze over. They nodded, but they didn't act. Because when we speak too much from frustration, people don't act. They just try to survive the conversation. I walked away thinking, I was very clear. They walked away thinking, no one is listening to me. And I haven't fixed it yet. I want to fix it. I'm sitting in the I want to fix it. That's why today is about how we speak so our team actually acts. Not big speeches, the 1% communication rule. Hey, it's Doreen. Welcome back to Shift Mindsets, Shift Outcomes, where mindset shifts, outcomes follow. Episode 4 was building a culture where leadership is the goal. Episode 5, speaking so your team actually acts. The 1% communication rule. And I need to be honest about why I need this rule. I over-explain. I do, every time. Someone comes to me with a need, and I get scared they won't understand, or they won't agree, or they'll think I don't care. So I talk more. I give the background, the history, the why we decided, what the district said, or what happened last year, what I need them to do, and what I'm trying to do. I think I'm being clear. I'm not. I'm being confusing. And I do it because I'm frustrated and tired. And because I want so badly to be understood. And to be seen as a good leader who has a reason for everything. But when I over-explain, people don't feel led. They feel overwhelmed. They nod to get out of the conversation, not because they know what to do. Someone told me this week, no one is listening to me. No one is handling my needs. And what did I do? First, I let out that frustrated, hard breath. You know that sigh that says, here we go again, without saying a word? I watched them shut down. Then I over-explained for 3 minutes. I talked and talked, thinking I was fixing it. And I walked away thinking I was clear. And they walked away feeling exactly what they said. No one is listening. I haven't fixed it yet. I want to fix it. I'm sitting in the want to fix it. And I realized they didn't need my paragraph. They needed one sentence, one need, one action. I over-explain because I'm scared. Future leaders don't need my fear. They need my clarity. And clarity is saying less so they can actually act. If you ever talk too much because you wanted so badly to be understood, this episode is for you. Why they don't act. We think they aren't listening. They think we aren't listening. Here's what I've learned. People don't act because we say too much. We have 4 minutes in the hallway, so we cram 10 minutes into 4 minutes. We give context, disclaimers, apologies, history. I know you're busy, but we decided because last year and the district said, so what I need you to do is meet and email, and they hear noise. They don't hear the action. We think more words equal more clarity. More words equal less action. Your team can't act on a paragraph. They can act on one sentence. This is the fixer trap from episode 1. We think if we explain enough, we'll fix it. Explaining is not leading. Clear, doable direction is leading. We want a thriving culture where leadership is the goal from episode 4. Future leaders don't need a speech. They need one clear next step they can own. The 1% rule. One need, one action, one sentence. Don't try to say 100% better. Say 1% clearer so they can act 1% more. 1%. Tiny shift, big outcome. The 1% communication rule is one need, one action, one sentence. Before you speak, in that hallway moment, pause and ask, what is the one need they are bringing? Not 3, 1. What is the one action I need them to take? Not 5 steps, 1. Can I say that action in one sentence? Example from my mess up. Old way. What I did. Frustrated, breathing, plus 3-minute explanation about why we do what we do. Result, they feel invisible and no action. 1% way, what I should have done, after the breath, replaced it with a leadership breath. Inhale, not mine to carry. Exhale, mine to get curious about. Then, thank you for telling me your need hasn't felt handled. Will you send me one sentence by 3:30 about what part feels most unheard so I can handle it with you? One action, one sentence. One sentence, doable by 3:30, they can act. Because you spoke so they could act, not so you could explain. That's how you build future leaders. Not by telling them everything, by telling them the one thing they can lead on right now. The breath before you speak. That frustrated, hard breath spoke before I spoke. It said, "You're a burden." We need a different breath. The 3-second, 1% breath. When someone comes to you and you feel that frustration rising, inhale, not mine to carry. Exhale, mine to get curious about. Silently ask, what is the 1% they can act on? That breath stops the 5-minute over explanation. It gives you clarity. Old pattern, frustrated breath, over explain, no action, guilt, you carry it home. New pattern, leadership breath, one need, one action, one sentence. They act, they feel heard. You build a future leader. How I want to fix it with 1%. I haven't fixed my conversation yet, but this is how I want to fix it using 1%. I'm going to go back and say, hey, do you have 2 minutes? The other day when you said, no one is listening to me, no one is handling my need, I let out a frustrated breath and I over-explained. I didn't listen. That's on me. But I want to fix it. Can you tell me in one sentence what need hasn't felt handled? Then let's pick one action we can take today together. No defending why I was frustrated. No 5-minute speech. One need, one action, one sentence. Leadership isn't about never messing up with that hard breath. It's about having the courage to go back with a clearer sentence. If you don't go back, they keep carrying. No one is listening. And you keep carrying guilt. And our culture gets a crack where leadership doesn't feel safe. Your tool this week, the 1% before you speak. Before every conversation this week, especially the frustrated ones, write on a sticky note one need. What need are they bringing? One action. What one thing they can do next? One sentence. How can I say that in one sentence? Then speak that one sentence. Watch what happens. They act because you finally spoke so they could act. Last week I asked, what am I missing? This week I found out I was missing the 1%. I let out a frustrated, hard breath instead of a leadership breath. I gave a paragraph when they needed one sentence. You don't need to say it all. You need to say it so they can do something with it. I over-explain because I'm scared they won't get it. But clarity isn't saying more. Clarity is saying 1% clear so they can act. 1% clearer today, your team acts 1% more tomorrow. And 1% more over a school year is a culture where leadership is the goal and people actually lead because they know exactly what to do. I'm going to go fix mine now with one need, one action, one sentence. I'm Doreen. This is Shift Mindsets, Shift Outcomes, where mindset shifts, outcomes follow. Leave a comment. What conversation did you over-explain this week because you were scared they wouldn't understand? What would your 1%, one need, one action, one sentence have been? See you next week.